You look at Haiti, you look at the demographic makeup, you look at the average IQ. If you import the third world into your country, you are going to become the third world. That's just basic. Like, it's not racist, it's just fact. You see that happening in these places.
Donald Trump Jr. believes that immigration should be an IQ test, but let's be real, what he's really talking about is the color of people's skin. That's what he wants to be a determining factor in immigration. Let's be honest about that. And for the entire Trump family, and I have examples, intelligence has always been a cover for their brand of racism. For instance, in this clip, Trump Jr. argues that if it wasn't for wokeness, there would be fewer black and trans students at Harvard.
If you took the exact same student and you took away skin color, sexual orientation, trans, gender, status, whatever the heck that may be. If you took that away and you compared the scores of Asians and or whites relative to any of the other sort of, let's call them, checkbox, woke status symbols today of the radical left, and you put them head to head, it's shocking who is able to get into Harvard and who would be unilaterally deterred or just rejected entirely.
Now, this is, of course, ironic from somebody who rode his family's name to the position he's in now, and someone who certainly did not get into Penn on merit. I don't think we need lessons on who is intelligent enough to get into Ivy League schools from somebody like Donald Trump Jr. But again, using intelligence is a cover for their racism. That's why he's doing this. He wants people to think that people of color or marginalized groups like trans people wouldn't get into these schools on their own. And they want to make you think that the left is all up in arms over false claims of racism. They want you to think that there's this mass hysteria, this racism industrial complex where everything is racist. And of course, J.D. Vance tries to do that here unsuccessfully.
Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys.
It's just a weird, uncomfortable moment, and it doesn't make sense, but it shows how they try to make this claim repeatedly, even if it doesn't fit. And in matters of real racism, in this case, accidentally letting out a slur on TV, you can see the comfort from people on the right. Take a look.
I think it was in that interview where Dana Bash says, the police have gone through 11 months of recordings of calls, and they've only found 2 Springfield residents calling to complain about Haitian migrants taking geese from ponds. Only 2 calls. And I think one lesson of this whole story, people don't care about geese. People really hate geese. They all things considered, yeah. I think people would prefer Haitian migrants to come and take the geese off the golf course, right? So it's pets, yeah. It's the cats and dogs has become the standard. Geese clearly don't matter.
Megyn Kelly just ignores it. She moves on. Oh, no big deal. My guest just accidentally said the N-word. All right, on to the next question. Just doesn't even bat an eye? You're not going to push back on that? Nothing? You're okay with that? But because they've been creeping up to that line for years, when somebody accidentally crosses it, they don't care. Maybe she didn't even notice. You would want to think that she did, but there's a level of comfort there. Because the right's entire project for years has been to demonize immigrants and people of color, to blame them for all of society's problems. And an extension of that is them acting on these racist stereotypes that they have perpetuated. Take a look at this.
Politician, and you indict them, and they immediately withdraw from everything, and actually made my father stronger. Now all of a sudden you start seeing African-American support, Hispanic support. Yep, so many of these communities are saying, no, this is exactly what they've done to us over the last 15 years. Trump's my guy.
Here's Eric Trump totally distorting the realities of American policing, a system that disproportionately targets black and Hispanic men, but now he's thinking that because Trump got indicted, they like him because they see themselves in him. And of course, there are people from all backgrounds, from all walks of life who like Trump, but the reason they like him is, for the majority of people, not because he got indicted. All he's doing is saying black and Hispanic people are criminals. What a winning political message. And when they try to pretend to be an ally, to be comfortable with people of color, it ends up in moments like this.
Oh, look who we have. Byron, stand up, please. Superstar of the future. He's already a superstar, but he's a superstar of the future. Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. He's great. He's great. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good. But we have a group of people that are really great.
Of course, he's trying to avoid being openly racist, but in doing so, he's still making a weird and clunky comment. What does he mean, you have ones? What do you think he's talking about here? And he makes these sweeping generalizations at other points on other topics as well. Here he is talking about low-income housing.
And I'm the one that says you can't build a low-income apartment house where people want to do harm when they move in, right next to your beautiful little house, right?
Those people want to do harm. What do you mean by those people? Who are you talking about? And of course, he has a history of discriminating against prospective tenants based on race, and it seems like even though he faced punishment in his earlier years, he hasn't left that part of him behind. And on that front, there is a long, well-documented history of Trump's racism. Nothing new, of course, but it is interesting to see that this is the same old guy. This is the same old Trump from 2016, from the 2000s when he was pushing the birtherism hoax against Obama, even back to the 90s when he was saying things like this.
We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like to Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians, and a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan.
So it's important not to get distracted by these culture war fights, especially on issues of immigration and race, because while they want you to think it's about intelligence or IQ or equity in educational outcomes, that's not the case. It's ultimately a cover for their long, well-documented history of racism.